Hey guys, my name is Alicia. As you can tell by the title of this video, this is going to be a very interesting story. So I suggest get your popcorn or whatever it is that you're going to need. Just get comfortable and, hear my story. So I'm just going to get straight to the point. I'm going to talk to y'all like y'all my best friends. I'm going to let y'all know what happened to me. So, let's start back when I was back in 2013. I was a Christian back then. And, a matter of fact, let's take it even a step further back. I've always been spiritually in tune. I've always been the kind of child that just been curious about the unseen, the unknown, and ghosts and spirits, and I've always been like that. But it wasn't until 2013 that I, fully gave my life to Christ, and uh, for like I want to let you know the story of how I feel like I encountered God's spirit, like it came to me. I remember coming home one day and just crying. I just bust out crying. My kids wasn't home. I was there by myself, and I just came home and I just broke down crying. And I broke down crying because they tell you that you're not supposed to question God, but I felt like I was going through life not understanding a lot about myself because of, just the things that I went through in my childhood that I was just carrying. It felt like I was just carrying so many burdens in my life that I wanted to understand why did I go through the things that I went through. Like, why did I go through molestation? Why did I become a teen mom? And for those of you that don't know, being a teen mom, I got pregnant at 14, had my daughter at 15. That's a very traumatic experience for a teen because psychologically and our souls aren't like fully developed, our spirits aren't fully developed at that age. Like we may think that we like ready for something like that, but you're not ready for it to give birth and bring life into a world. Like that really takes a lot, and we don't understand how traumatic that is to have a baby at such a young age. So I was carrying that burden. And then, like I said, daddy issues at the time. I had mama issues at the time. I just really didn't understand why, I went through so much, trauma, as you want to say, psychological wounds that I just didn't understand. So the day that I came home and I began to cry and asking God, why I went through this, why I went through that. You claim to be this all-seeing God. Where was you when this happened? And where was you when I was molested? And where was you when this happened? Like, I was really questioning him, and I was crying so hard to where you ever cry so hard that you can, like, feel like your soul is crying, too, because, like, it's like a deep inner cry, like, it's uncontrollably, it's intense, and that's really how it was. And I don't know, I remember just crying and asking and crying and asking, and like I felt this presence I felt this presence come. I don't know if it came over me or it was just in the room or whatever. And as the presence came, my lights was like shaking a little bit, like going as if electricity is just like being tampered with, going in and out or whatever. I can't describe it right, so forgive me. Um, I kind of just felt like at ease. I felt this sense of peace, and I just was like, wow. Like I was just sitting there, like just wow. Like what is this? Like I just felt this sense of just calmness come over me, and it just felt so loving. And then after that, it was just like I started to get quote as they call it now spiritual downloads, but I say like he started to speak to my spirit, my soul. Like he started to speak to my soul. And it was like you didn't go through what you went through for nothing. Everything you went through had a purpose. Nothing you went through was in vain. And I want you to go through this because this is what I want you to do. And this is the start of Fly. First love yourself. This is how I came up with it. Or this is how it was, genetic. This is how God downloaded it to me. And he was saying, I want you to use the butterfly life cycle. I want you to use the butterfly life cycle, and you're gonna write down different stages of the butterfly. You're gonna use that to help people go through their life process to help them eternally deal with themselves so they could become a better version of themselves. I'm taking you through this process and I'm doing this because these are the things like I had to write down. Mind you, after that, stuff started happening in reality. Like my reality started to be distorted then but in a loving way. It wasn't really bad. I remember one day after that, I was supposed to stay home and write, and I remember I decided not to keep writing, and I went out with my friends that night, and we walking, and these like these little slugs on the ground. I'm like, it just drew my attention, and I'm like, so what the heck? So I look down. We go in the club. I'm like, we're not paying it no mind. Some of them was stepped on. Some of them was like, crawling, but they were crawling from out of the grass into the ground, back to the street. They was crawling from basically where their habitat would be to another environment that didn't make sense. Like they was crawling in towards uh, the street. So it was like a park, and the park was this way, and the street was this way. But they was crawling going towards the street. Like I said, some of them was smashed on. People was walking over them and all that. So I go in the club, and in the club, I just remember like feeling like I was in there with like I didn't feel like myself. Like it felt like I was like having an out of body experience, kind of. Like I'm like the music don't sound the same, and it felt like people was just like on different like people were just on different waves, like almost like you was in there with other spirits that wasn't good. So when we left out of the club, I finally got a chance to actually look at the ground to see that it wasn't slugs, it was a bunch of caterpillars. Caterpillars. If the God just gave me a word to say that He's going to teach me to use the butterfly life cycle to demonstrate the growth process that we must go through to overcome our trials and tribulations in life, and how I'm going to walk people through the egg, symbolically using it for us, walking them through the being in the egg process, walking them being a caterpillar, walking them into the chrysalis phase, walking them into the butterfly phase, helping them through the process to become a better version of themselves, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually. And to see these caterpillars on the ground after being told to write something like that, it was just like weird. And I got the message as soon as I got home. Like, when you don't do your calling and your purpose, you are letting down millions of other people that's connected and tied to you, that need to hear your word, that need to hear your testimony, that need to get this information that God is trying to use you for. So, and like I said, I've always been spiritual, so I really, took that to heart. Like, dang, and I began to write. I remember getting in contact with people and trying to do the workshops and coming up with the 7 workshops and going into deep details of what they mean and breaking it down. Like God was really, downloading to me, like using my spirit so that I could better help myself and better to help others. And I was using my gifts. I was speaking to people, helping them through hurt. I was able to do the workshops. I wasn't getting paid or anything like that. It was just genuinely coming from a space of love. Now let's fast forward to, I want to say, 2018, 19-ish. Excuse me, my nose running. I began to, go down a different route with F.L.Y. I'll leave some pictures and videos. I'll leave the links and stuff down below. I still got stuff up that, what I was dealing with. So I started to take a different route. Like, as if something in me and my conscience just, like, started to change. Like, oh, no, I'm going to take this route with F.L.Y. And I started to get into, like, who I am, like, in my family lineage. And I was starting not to want to believe in God no more. Like, not believe in God, but I was, like, starting to believe that God and Goddess. And I started to want to believe, my family legacy and where it is that I was coming from. And, the Matrix got us in all this turmoil you in. Like, I was just going spiraling. As somebody say, I was starting to awake or whatever. I started to get into witchcraft. I started indulging in candle magic. I started indulging in just so much different stuff. I also indulged in, see, this is one of the ones that this part of the story is like, consciously I kind of want to tell it, but then again I don't. But I'm gonna tell y'all. I indulged in sex magic, right? I knew what sex magic was, but I wasn't like all the way conscious of what it was. Like, internally in my mind, like I didn't understand what it was, like, and how deep it can go. indulged sex magic, and the demons was like transferred to me to that. Like it was so bad, it was so bad. Like I was literally seeing them. I started hearing voices. Like it got so bad they diagnosed me with schizophrenia. I had the 302 myself. I had, put my family through a lot because I was eternally going through that, what I was experiencing within myself, like hearing all that and like seeing stuff, and it was like talking through the technology and all of that I experienced, and like the whole time God was with me, the whole time, even when I turned my back on God, God had to come back and show me like I walked you through all that so that you can better understand your purpose and your calling in life. Like demons and demonic entities are real, and if you not protected, they would try to take you under. Like Satan, I met Satan himself in the flesh. When I was going through what I was going through, I was jumping in people's cars that I didn't know who it was, but I saw and seen Satan myself. He had a fleshly vessel, and we had a conversation where he was trying to get me to go into this hotel room and I mean really, like in reality. I'm not talking about in my dreams. I'm not talking about a delusion I made up. I'm talking about it happened like really in reality. Like it was crazy. It was crazy. Like, and I'm not laughing because it's a good thing. It's crazy because anything could have happened to me if I wasn't like self-aware. Like that's like he was who he was. And I remember him driving me to this location where it was like water and like a grassy area, and I got out and I just felt like this high level of love and I couldn't understand like why am I feeling this. Like I wasn't really grasping or asking questions. I just was going along with it as if I was just letting him just make me just feel whatever it is that I wanted to feel, instead of asking questions and not allowing him to drive me like that. Then I got back in the car with him, and we were going to go to a hotel, and he was just saying all these sexual things and all the things he wanted to do with me. But then something made me understand. Like I looked him in the face, and I'm like, "This is Satan. This is Satan himself." And when I was saying it, and he was like in tune with me, he wasn't reacting or anything. But yeah, yes. Oh my gosh. I don't know. It just kind of got me in a space now where after experiencing so much of it, like I got a whole lot more stories to tell, and I haven't really gotten in full details right now. But it's just like I just want y'all to know, like God is real, Jesus is real. Yes, He's out there. Yes, He loves you. I just want you to know, like whatever you want through, keep praying. Pray through your process. Understand that you may be in the season of going through a different cycle right now, or trying to break generational cycles off your life and off your family. That's very, very hard. And I don't know. It got so bad that, guys, oh my goodness, I saw the cross. Like actually, I saw the cross. I seen Jesus. I seen him. I seen him. He like came to me. And they would diagnose that with schizophrenia to tell you like you was having delusions, but that stuff is real. That stuff is real. It would be, I probably would believe more so that I had schizophrenia if I wasn't already spiritual and already like in tune already to understand like it was more than schizophrenia that I was dealing with. It was a spiritual, like a whole spiritual war that was going on within inside myself and internally, externally. Like I was really involved in what it is that I was going through. So I just want to encourage somebody to turn your ways, or help you to understand that this isn't the end for you. God still loves you. He still loved me the whole time through the process that I had to go through. And it helped me to become a better version of myself. Like it's helping me to get more in tune and connected with myself. Like, and understand that what you went through wasn't in vain, and it don't fall on deaf ears. It really don't. I don't know. I hope you guys understood my story, and I hope I told it right. I felt like I left out so much. I felt like I left out a whole lot. But we'll get to that in a whole another video where I could just walk you through like spiritually, like how it was for me. Like, and I keep thinking about it, like it's a blessing. It's a blessing, and yeah, it's a blessing. It's an absolute blessing. I don't know how certain scriptures help walking like this. Satan was trying to take over my mind, literally take over my mind. Like it just, oh God. Mm, mm, mm. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video at that. If you want to know more, return to my channel. Hang out with me. Come get to know a girl or whatever. And I'll let you know more about what it is more spiritual experiences that I have, and more about F.L.Y and how it is that I can help you through the process. It's a process, a life process that never ending. So, see you guys.